I used to lose money by being super greedy, but today I learned from that and I took my take profit at a key resistance zone and took profit. And look what happened right after that. I would have most likely hit stop loss or hit a break even trade after that, moving my stop loss up. But instead, I took a small win and was able to take out my trade at a key resistance zone and stay profitable and make money on the day. So, with all that being said, today I was 1 for 2 on the day. I will remove this and go over what happened and my thought process. So, going on to the 15-minute time frame at market open down here, we had this sweep of this high, and I thought we could maybe take out this high, but ultimately I was bearish on the day, looking for shorts, targeting these lows, and even these lows down here. So I was looking for shorts, bearish on the day. Going down to the 1 minute time frame, we had at market open a big manipulation at these highs. I'll remove this out of the way now because of that manipulation. So we took out the highs pre-market, and then at market open, we took out the highs again for a good manipulation move, and then a displacement to the downside. I didn't take this trade because it was so early in market open. I could have taken a trade and entered below these lows down here, but I didn't because of that reason. So I waited, and I was looking for a continuation trade to target one of these lows down here. But we didn't get much of an entry. There was a lot of choppy price action, so that didn't go very well. Then on this weird at 10:12, we had this massive candle going up and just basically took out everything. All of the plans, like we could have had an easy market structure short right here within this fair value gap, but it blew right through it after respecting it on this red candle. So we kind of restarted the morning on the day after that big big green candle going up and taking out the liquidity that was above it, taking out this liquidity here within this big fair value gap. So with it taking out that liquidity, we were waiting for either it to respect the liquidity or to blow past it. And as you can see, it respected it pretty well. So I saw that, and then I was looking for shorts still. I was still bearish on the day, targeting these lows and then all of the marked out lows down here still. So with all that being said, I'm looking for shorts, and right at this point, there was a big manipulation and then a displacement through the series of down close candles or up close candles lows. So I entered here at this candle for a short and stops at manipulation high, just targeting the relative lows at the massive candle that we had, the fair value gap that it created. We had the candle dip into the fair value gap. So I just had the take profit at the lows there, not targeting a crazy risk reward ratio, but still a 1.7. So pretty good risk reward on that. But as you can see, that didn't go very well, and that was a very, very quick stop loss hit. So I saw this, and I was like, okay, we are not necessarily respecting this liquidity anymore. I think we are going to go bullish, and we're going to target the highs. So because I don't know what the market is doing, I just switched my bias to bullish, looking for longs now after it took out this high completely. That is the exact moment that I did switch to longs. So with that being said, I waited for an entry, and I did not get FOMO here and just enter on buys. And yes, I could have had a very good risk reward, but it's better to stick to your plan and focus on the process and the execution of it all. So that's what I did here. And I waited for another continuation entry point, and at this point right here, we had a manipulation on the downside, and then a displacement through the series of down close candles highs, looking for longs. Just the displacement closed above this candle, which is exactly when I entered. I enter at the candle close every single time with the stop loss here at manipulation low. And for my target on the draws higher, I had this all-time high marked out from the previous day market open and pre-market, but that would have been kind of a reach. That would have been a 1-to-5 risk reward ratio, which is a lot for me. We're already in this zone where it's not great entries on the higher time frame, and it's more probability to go lower than it is higher. So with that being said, I wanted to not de-risk, but the probability wasn't necessarily on my side there because I was in such premium zone for shorts on the higher time frame. So I saw this big 15-minute inverse fair value gap from the previous day pre-market. So with that inverse fair value gap, I do love inverse fair value gaps as confirmation and zones where market respects. So I see that a lot, and I put the stops or the take profit at the start of the inverse fair value gap. So stops at the start of the inverse fair value gap on the 15-minute time frame, or take profit, not stops. I don't know why I keep saying that. But take profit at the start of the inverse fair value gap, there we go. And then stops at the manipulation low for about a 1-to-6, not exactly, risk reward ratio. For full TP on that, which I was very, very happy about going into it, because right as I entered on this candle because it was right after candle or close on the displacement move, but it doesn't change the risk reward at all. But seeing all of these little move candle, not very much volatility, not much volume down here, as you can see, there's not much volume on these candles. I was very anxious, I guess you could say, because I didn't know what the future held. And I really thought I was going to get stopped out and be one trade away from blowing my funded account and completely losing that. I only risked $750 on this trade, and in order to blow the account, I was $1,200 away. So I would still have one more trade after this one if it hit stop loss, but thankfully it didn't, and it turned around and volatility picked up and had a big move to the upside, thankfully, for a profit on the day of about $500 because I was 1 for 2 on the day. We had to count that loss in the morning and then this too. So this wiped out the loss and then some, thankfully. So we were in a profit of $500. And typically in the past, I would have been greedy and I would have not looked at the higher time frame, and I would have just targeted all-time highs for a 1-to-5 and just be super greedy and wanting the most out of everything. But I learned from my past mistakes and didn't do that, because I know every time I did that in the past, even though it not necessarily would have been on a funded or a eval account, it would have been on paper trade. So I didn't necessarily get the consequences of some of you guys might have. But I realized that pattern of it respects the inverse fair value gap a lot. So I didn't want to target all-time highs because of that reason and take the greed to another level. So I just took small profits and was happy about that on the day. So I'm okay with that. Overall, great trade for me today. As you can see, it looks like it's respecting the inverse fair value gap going. It'll probably go down or just consolidate for the rest of the day across the screen until market close. Who knows? You never know with the market, but that's pretty much all I got for you guys on the trade recap for today. And if you guys don't know, at the end of a trade recap, I do a verse of the day and put God at the center of all this, because he is the reason we can do all this, and we can't do this alone without him. So put him as a focus on trading, because he is a big part of my life and he should be a big part of yours. And if he's not, hopefully you can find God down the road with your path. But we are going to do the verse of the day after a trade recap. Nothing crazy long at all. But today's verse of the day is Proverbs 9:10. And Proverbs 9:10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." So basically, once you start fearing the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That's when you start obeying the Lord, finding out all of his teachings, I guess you could say, just following Christ in general. But once you get knowledge of what it truly means to follow God and Jesus, then you truly understand him, and then you stop sinning overall, and your happiness, like he helps you be happy, and overall you just live a better life while following Jesus and putting him as your main priority. So that's not like a crazy verse of the day, but just a good reminder to put God as the center of your life. But let me know what your guys' favorite Bible verse is in the comments. I would love to hear it because I am wanting to start memorizing a lot more Bible verses and go fully deep dive into the Bible. I haven't necessarily been doing that recently, but that's something that I've been wanting to do. So let me know your favorite verses in the comments below. But that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. I will update you guys on my next trade and give you a trade recap for that one too.